7. Today I am joined with Dump. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. Just ready to talk a little bit about the truth.
The truth. How's the new job going?
Good. It's busy, but last week of off time for the guys, so Monday we get rolling. It's all gas, no brakes this summer, and headed into the fall. Be busy until January.
You've been instilling some good values in these young men, or you're about to.
About to. We get every year it's a new team. A new
Right.
new attitude, a new vision. You get some new players in, so exciting times. Should have a great year. We September 11th we get to go into Death Valley and play LSU at night. So
Nice.
a lot of things to be excited for.
Let's talk about your season so far. Right now, you're looking at what are you 2-0?
2-0, beat the Chargers and the Cowboys.
What's going to be the biggest game for you? Is it that matchup with Dan that you talked about on First and Goal?
Yeah, that's probably my biggest matchup. Playing in my division, you always got, I got RD in week 3. That's always a
Mm-hmm.
big one. Meets, that means a lot. Our rivalry. But I would say outside of the divisions, definitely Dan this year. He thinks he's
Thinks he's got it.
upper echelon of the SML, and he's only beat me once. I gave him the game. I think I was up about 17 points, and I remember it being fourth and short. I play action pass, had guy wide open. I just got hit and missed the throw. He came back and won. So he talks a big game, but he knows who's on top at the end of the day.
Your team's pretty stacked. I'm looking at it. You got Edens 99 overall, Bosa 99, Kittle 99, Fred Warner 98, Ayuk 96, Hopkins 94. You got some pretty talented guys out there. Hopefully you can pull through and win the NFC West. Do you think that it's harder to play defense this year opposed to last year? Last
I
cycle?
definitely, absolutely do. If I could change one thing about my team, I would definitely, and something I'm looking towards next year is to have a fast middle linebacker with a good change of direction. Warner's solid. He's a 98, 99 overall guy, but he just lacks a little speed and athleticism for me to really make those user. I'm great against the run with him, but in coverage, I feel like I'm so close all the time to making a big play. I'm getting
Right.
a pick. And week 1, I got 2, but I feel like if I had a Devin White caliber middle linebacker like you have, or there's a lot of guys around the league, like a Devin Bush for the Steelers, a guy with 90s speed and a good
Mm-hmm.
change of direction. I feel like that changes a lot. Definitely a lot tougher to play defense. You used to be able to lock down the whole field with a
Right.
linebacker, run everywhere and intercept passes. You get some crazy animations, but it's not the way the game goes this year. That's something I've struggled with, to be honest. I'm used to being able to run around with my user, create chaos, take away 2 to 3 different routes, and you just can't do that this year. So it's definitely been a struggle for my gameplay.
It's definitely harder to stop the run as well. I mean, you used to if you match personnel 9 times out of 10, or maybe 8 times out of 10, you're stopping or holding those to shorter gains. And this year, it just doesn't matter, especially if you're playing X Factor type running back or a guy with good stick. Also talking about X Factor, kind of one of my questions was, do you feel like the game is coded for those X Factor defenders or defensive backs to play the ball better than the receivers? Because a lot of times your receiver's in position on like a post or whatever, and the defender just warps through them. You think it's just because they're trying to make those X Factors stand out, or is it just that's what's broken in this game, or do you even see that?
I honestly see it going both ways because, yes, there's times where the X Factor DB will jump and make crazy animation, but there's
Mm-hmm.
also been a large amount, a handful of times where someone throws a ball up. I know against Grams it happened once, and I'm in front of him with my defender, thinking user pick, like easily. Like I'll time it up, I'll go get it. And when in reality, I should probably just try to swat it. But with my confidence, I think I can get every pick. And it doesn't matter. Like I'll just get crazy animation, it goes into it, automatic catch. So I think it goes both ways. I
Kind of
wouldn't
like
really
you.
say it. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a great secondary, so I can't really speak from experience on
Hmm.
those DB animations, but I know for me it kind of goes both ways.
We're looking at some stats right now, and if you look at the interception leaders, you got Patrick Mahomes with 14, Wentz 11, Jordan Love 9, Joey Barrow with 7. Um, Kind of leading me in or segueing me into another question here. Not that you're ever really behind that often, or that you just have those shitball games like some of us others do. Do you think it's appropriate, or ever do you ever think that it could be beneficial to bench a quarterback in a bad game where you're 3, 4 interceptions in for
No,
Madden's sake?
Madden's sake, I think that's just a formality or it's just like a mental thing with the user. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I mean, what are you gonna do? Put in a quarterback that's not as good? It's not like real life where in real life if you have a starting quarterback and a second string guy who's not as good, like he can come in and play above that starter's ability. In Madden, it's all about the ratings, right? Like he's not
Sure.
going to come in and I mean, I think that's just a mental thing for the user. Like, oh, I got a new quarterback in, he's going to do better. But in reality, honestly, most times that people throw interceptions, I can speak for myself. Just when I'm forcing a throw, and I threw two against Grams, and the second one, as soon as I released it, I was like, I shouldn't have thrown that pass.
Right.
Like as soon as I tapped the button, I'm like, oh, pick. So it's not most of the times when I throw interceptions, it's not Jalen Hurts' fault. It's my fault for
Right.
forcing the ball. So I don't think it plays that big of a factor. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
So the new ZZ, or the new VP, Mad Bomber, he put out an article about 2 early mock drafts for the SML selection. Did you take a look at that or no?
I did. I did get to take a look at
So
that.
a couple things I took away. You got Meats with the Dolphins, and then he put you with the Bills. Would that be? Are you gonna keep the rivalry alive and chase Meats wherever he goes?
I don't know. Like I talked about, next year I'm looking for. I don't really. I go back and forth.
Right.
Next year I might go with a rebuild. A team that's not quite as talented this year. I picked a really talented team, so next year I might go with someone with a lot of picks or cap space. And then the other thought is, you know, a fast middle linebacker, like I talked about, someone that'll be fun to user and I can
Right.
build around. Um, I mean, there's a lot of different directions at this point I'm going. That's why I've always said, yeah, I know I'm going to be pretty competitive in the league after two cycles in. I think I've missed the playoffs one time in my tenure, and that was my second ever season. I feel like I can be competitive with anyone, so I don't. There's a lot of things I've been thinking about, and honestly, it'll probably just come down to getting the game, looking at some rosters, trying out some teams like usual. I don't. I mean, last year I didn't really have a plan. Just played with a bunch of teams,
Mm-hmm.
and Grahams was the one who was like, try out the 49ers, and I used them for a couple games, and Mostert was good, and they had a good defense. I think that's a big thing for me is I don't really look at offense-wise. I 2 cycles ago, I started with the Jags, with Nick Foles, and
Right.
really no X factors this year. 49ers, only X factor was
Kittle.
Kittle, although they had a little talent. They had some fast receivers, and Mostert was good, but I always struggle defensively. My offensive stick skills, I'm going to put up points. Confident in that. So I really look at defenses when I'm picking a team. But, Bomber did pose the Bills. Very tempting. I know Josh Allen would be very good. Have great throw power. They have a solid defense, too. They have, I can't think of who their middle linebacker is. It's Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Edmonds. So he's a solid middle linebacker user. They got Tre'Davious White, Hyde. So that could be a potential team for me. I think I just look at it and, I could always go back to my favorite team, the Steelers. We got Devin Bush. I always enjoyed him this year, how fast he is. So really, it's a coin toss, and I don't necessarily know if I'll follow Meats. I mean, it could be fun again, but it's not what I base my. I don't base my choices off who's in what division. It don't really matter to me. This year, I just decided that the 49ers were a good team, and then hyped it up that following Meats. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I look at each team play during the preseason of the game, and we figure it out from there.
So that you're not going to consider like who's in the division. Is there somebody you don't want in your division?
No, I don't
You
care.
don't care.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm confident in my skills. I can beat anyone in the league, and go. It doesn't matter at the end of the day if you're good in the league, you're gonna have to go through those guys in the playoffs anyway. So like division doesn't matter. You might as well pick a team that you like if you're a player like me. If I was a lower tier player and I was picking later in the draft, yeah, I'd look at who's in the division because I want to pick the division I can win in. But I feel like I can win in any division. I've beat a division with Prime. I've won a couple divisions with Prime in there this year. Won one or two with Meats and RD. Like I'm always close, so that doesn't really matter to me.
What do you think about these quick advances? Do you think it's going to wind up costing guys to leave? Like I know for me personally, it's difficult to meet certain advances just because I work third shift and a lot of times especially the days that I'm working, my windows are pretty tight. Um, so some of these quick advances kind of fuck me. And even like a condensed off season at times is a little tough for me to make. And I know that Coop and I think another guy or two have kind of griped about it, whether it be in jest or serious. Do you think that it's going to cost us any people with these short advances?
Right now, state of the SML, I can see a couple guys leaving, um, because I don't think solely on advances. I think there's guys like KJ's like getting close to being done with it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if it. I know you've left in the past because of just work and life. Um, now I think about it, maybe like one or two. I don't think it would be a lot, and I really hope we don't. Right now, I think the state of the SML is the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
I haven't been in here for about 2 years now, but um, everybody we have, I couldn't say one player right now like, oh, we need to get rid of him. In the past, there's been the Dookies and the Cogs
All right.
and different players that just weren't a good fit. But there's no one right now that we can say like this guy needs to go or this guy's going to go. It'd be a surprise if anybody left at this point, in my opinion. So on one hand, I can see it. On the second hand, I just hope it doesn't because I like the group of guys that we have. I think we're at the peak of the SML. We don't need to replace anyone.
So outside of what you just said, where the group of guys is good, what's one thing that you like and one thing you dislike about where we're at right now?
Hmm, that's a tough one. Um, One thing that I like is just the overall competitiveness. No
Mm-hmm.
one's won repeat titles. I think in the past, Prime's dominated. You have
Yeah.
certain guys that have dominated the league, and I really feel like it's wide open now. Um, Something that I don't like. It's tough to say what I don't like. But honestly, I think we got some guys in the league that flirt the line of the rules, but know how to
Sure.
stay within them.
Yeah.
Um,
You
that'd probably
have
be
that.
one thing. It's just like it's Madden at the end of the day. To
Right.
me, it's just it's Madden. Like most time, I want to win, but at the end, if I lose, it's another day. But some guys, I feel like to be competitive, they have to kind of really, one. Here's one thing that bothers me. Now I think of it, we're a Sim Madden league.
Mm-hmm.
We have a very large amount of guys who play zone the whole game. Never pick man unless it's a blitz.
Right.
That never happens in real football.
Sure.
You play cover two man, you play cover one. That to me, and is that something I've been meaning to talk about? That is not sim. If you and how do you get a 10 out of 10 on sim defensive style if you're a guy that picks zone exclusively the whole game? And I'm not counting like 5 or 6 man rushes, like pressure blitzes. In real life football, you play zone, you play all your zones,
Mm-hmm.
you'll play cover one, with one safety over the type play, cover two, um, man cover two or whatever they call it, two safeties high, everybody else in man. Man coverage with one linebacker in zone, one safety. That's one thing I would say now that I really think about it. That's not sim.
Yeah.
And I try, and honestly, now that I see it, and obviously it's an exploit of the game that man coverage isn't good. So I've shifted to more zone, but I still
Right.
pick man every once in a while because I have integrity, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this the whole game. Like I could run, you could run cover two and cover three the whole game, and no one would probably say anything about it.
No, it's because
Often,
it's not that nano blitz, and that's what they're kind of I think
yeah.
geared at. That it's they're not really
I
exploiting
think
anything, but at the same time, like you said, they're going with what the meta is. At the beginning of the year, man coverage was the end all be all, and they've nerfed it because it was a little or a lot uh, overpowered, and it was just too easy just to sit in man, and then you would put your safeties in purples and set your drop backs. You could just pretty much lock anything down. So they made zones could make a comeback, and now they've kind of overpowered them and nerfed man to the extent where guys just don't want to call it, especially like you said, if they're not bringing the heat with it. So
and I
I know
think
it's the rules where you should, but like you said, it's just one of those things that gets overlooked.
right, and I think we should implement the same thing as offense. 70-30.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You have every 3 out of 10 plays. You better be calling man.
Sure.
And I know the game favors zone, but it's just if we're a Sim Madden league, we should. We look at offense very hard, run pass, play action on certain downs.
Right.
Um, there's a ton of offensive rules, but we neglect defense in this league and the realism of playing defense. You could just something that I've seen lately and I've noticed, and we're not really being held accountable for it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Like you said, it's just one of those things. No one's ever going to have it perfect, and it has to be brought to the front before it gets addressed. I mean, there's plenty of things that people do, and we're not saying that we're in a horrible place. Like you said, it took you a minute to think of that.
No, absolutely.
So overall, we're in a really good place, like you said.
One of the best places we've ever been as
Yeah.
far as got a sim
But
player.
if you had to put your
But
finger
if
on
I had,
something
if
and
I had
dig
to,
it,
yeah,
yeah,
if I had to nitpick one thing, it's not a huge thing. I don't think necessarily, but if I had to nitpick one thing, it took me a minute to think about, But
right.
there's nothing glaring off the top of my head wrong with our league. It's one of the strongest. It's the best it's ever been. So nitpicking, that'd be one thing I could say.
I think that my worst thing is Tiny's ability to be a GM. The fact that he traded DK and let go of Russell Wilson, and that's in my division. And Tiny, I think should be picking like 27th in the team selection next time. Not me, but I don't know. We'll just let him make some more trades to Prime, I guess. But
Yeah, Prime's got to put him up high so he can get the good players from him.
that's right. That way he can trade rape him. Last question. What's your too early Super Bowl predictions for this season?
Oh, too early Super Bowl prediction. Me versus Bomber, for sure.
You versus
Said
Bomber.
it. Said it before. Said it again. and then we'll get another new champion. I'm no matter what. At the end of the day, I'm just rooting for a different champion each season. So we've had 6 so far. If we play 2 more, 8 different champions that way. I think that says a lot of good things about the league.
Yeah, we got a lot of teams right there undefeated. Still got the Colts, Raiders, Jaguars, and even Matt. NFC, you got
Even Matt.
the Bears 3-0, Panthers 3-0, Rams 2-0, 49ers 2-0, the Eagles and the Vikings 3-0, all part of that Thanos squad. So it should be interesting to see who can actually get there. I don't know. It's definitely too early to pick, but if you had to look at it right now, I would almost say the Jaguars and the Vikings, just from what I know about those guys, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens if you and RD.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a good run.
Me and RD play this week. I would say, I mean, if I had to bet money on it, I bet that it'll be a repeat champion this year.
Sure.
This will be the season. There's just so many. I mean, you have 6 different champions who are all good. Like, the odds are probably someone's going to repeat. But in my heart, I want to see a new one. So me versus Bomber, a new blood in the, getting that trophy. So we'll see though. I got to take care of the ball and play smart. If I do that, I think I got a chance. And Bomber's always got a chance. He's been close in the past, so I'd really like to see him win one this year. He does a lot for the league. He's a good guy. He's built that team up. I mean, his defense is insane. So I'd like to see old Bomber win one this year.
All right, man. Well, check us out, SML.com, daddyleagues.com/SML.
Check us out.
Appreciate you hopping on with me, buddy.
Boy Field.
Good luck the rest of the season. I will be trying to get a win at some point here, hoping for at least 1 in 15. But
hey, you got it.
It's been rough.
Just RPO jet sweep and get an X factor running back. You'll be good.
This seems to be the key. All right, brother.
Call beats.
We're gonna throw this over, throw it out there. We're done. I'm tired, and
me too. I should have passed out about 45 minutes ago.
Later, boys.